Some sitcoms live quietly in memory, but ever-decreasing Circles remains unforgettable for the secrets behind its suburban chaos. Hidden within its gentle comedy are stories that might just change the way you see it forever. Fact 1.
Do you speak English? Good morning.
Richard Briers was already a household name when offered the part of Martin Bryce. At first, he was hesitant about playing someone so obsessively controlling. Briers had a reputation for warmth and charm, and Martin seemed unlikable on paper. He worried audiences would find the character irritating rather than funny. But David Renwick's writing convinced him to give it a chance. The scripts captured both humour and vulnerability beneath Martin's pedantic exterior. Once Briers started, he realised the role was a gift for an actor. He brought nuance to Martin, showing insecurity as well as stubbornness. The performance became one of his most iconic. Critics praised his ability to turn frustration into laughs. Fans quickly grew attached to Martin despite his flaws. Briers himself admitted the role stretched him in new directions. Without him, the sitcom would never have worked as well. His decision changed the trajectory of the show forever. Audiences discovered a new side of Briers they had never seen, and that's only the first surprise about this seemingly gentle sitcom. But what other casting secrets were hidden behind closed doors?
We can't go through Christmas not talking to one another.
Not talking, love? Whatever gave you that idea?
Fact 2.
You made me your mistress, and since then I've followed you from battlefield to battlefield like a slave.
Anne Bryce could easily have been written as a passive partner to Martin's obsessiveness. But Penelope Wilton brought intelligence, wit and depth to the role. She gave Anne her own independence and identity. Wilton believed it was important that Anne stood up to Martin. She infused the character with warmth, but also quiet strength. This created balance in their marriage and made the show richer. Audiences admired Anne for her patience, but also her sharp comebacks. She was not a background figure, she was essential to the dynamic. Wilton's subtle performance made Anne instantly relatable. Many viewers saw her as the anchor of the series. Without Anne, Martin's controlling nature might have been unbearable to watch. Instead, their relationship felt authentic and engaging. Wilton later said she enjoyed giving Anne resilience. Her work elevated the sitcom beyond simple laughs. Anne became a symbol of strength in everyday relationships, and yet her role was nearly very different at the start. So who almost played Anne instead of Wilton?
Martin, what happened? What's the matter?
My underpants are wet through.
Fact 3.
This is the life, eh, Martin? Busy doing nothing.
When Peter Egan joined as the effortlessly charming Paul Ryman, the show shifted. Paul was everything Martin was not: confident, relaxed, and charismatic. His arrival upset the balance of the neighbourhood. Some feared Paul would steal the spotlight from Martin. Instead, his presence created the show's central tension. Egan played Paul with natural ease, making him instantly appealing. Audiences found themselves torn between Martin's pedantry and Paul's charisma. The rivalry was both hilarious and poignant. Martin's jealousy exposed his insecurities in new ways. Egan later admitted he relished the chance to play such a smooth character. His performance made the comedy sharper and more layered. Without Paul, the show would have lacked contrast. Fans loved watching the battle of personalities unfold. It added a richness that sustained the series across multiple seasons. Paul was not just a neighbour, he was a mirror for Martin's failures. His role remains one of the sitcom's boldest choices. But what did Richard Briers really think about sharing the spotlight with him?
I'm in my hole.
How'd you get through the front door?
Fact 4.
Louise, there's another breakfast to come at my place, then one more Howard and Hilda.
David Renwick's scripts were anything but typical. He avoided broad slapstick and relied on character-driven humour. Everyday suburban life became the backdrop for deep, awkward comedy. He wrote Martin not just as a fusspot, but as someone battling insecurity. Renwick believed comedy worked best when rooted in uncomfortable truths. His stories often reflected real frustrations in relationships. He dared to show Martin at his most unlikable, trusting audiences to still care. This was unusual in an era of softer sitcoms. The show embraced awkward silences as much as punchlines. It tackled themes of envy, inadequacy, and belonging. These were rarely discussed in sitcoms at the time. Critics admired the risk-taking, even if it divided opinion. Some viewers found the show uncomfortably close to reality. Others praised its honesty and subtlety. The writing made Ever-Decreasing Circles a standout among its peers. Its legacy rests on Renwick's courage to go darker and deeper. But what hidden inspirations shaped the way he wrote Martin and the Others?
Well, I don't happen to think that bed is the place for chuckles.
I do.
Don't start.
Fact 5.
Good morning, dear.
Good morning, Howard.
Howard and Hilda, with their matching sweaters and gentle innocence, became unexpected fan favourites. At first, they were written as quirky background neighbours, but the chemistry between Stanley Labor and Geraldine Newman was undeniable. Their sweet eccentricity offered relief from Martin's tension. They embodied a kind of harmless suburban oddness. The sweaters, always coordinated, became their signature. Viewers found them both funny and strangely comforting. They represented stability in a world of Martin's chaos. Howard and Hilda never seemed to notice how unusual they were. Their calmness contrasted beautifully with Martin's fussing. The writers quickly expanded their roles due to audience affection. Fans often quoted their gentle, offbeat dialogue. They reminded viewers of neighbours they might actually know. Howard and Hilda became a symbol of suburban absurdity done right. Their presence gave the show warmth alongside its sharper edges. Without them, the comedy might have felt too harsh. They balanced the series in a subtle, essential way. But how did those famous matching sweaters nearly become a problem behind the scenes?
It's Christmas.
Is it really? I thought the Mardi Gras had been diverted.
Fact 6. Playing Martin was both a gift and a challenge for Richard Briers.
Quick service on the dormer to make sure she's okay over the Christmas break. That shouldn't take more than a couple of hours at the outside.
He knew the character could come across as irritating. Briers feared audiences might reject Martin completely. He worked hard to bring vulnerability to the role. Beneath Martin's obsession with order, he revealed insecurity and loneliness. This humanized the character and made him sympathetic. Briers carefully balanced comedy with humanity. His timing turned frustration into laughter. Fans came to understand Martin's need for control. Many even admitted they saw parts of themselves in him. The performance required restraint and subtlety. Too much harshness, and the character would fail. Briers carried the weight of making Martin tolerable. His success proved his skill as an actor. Critics praised his ability to draw sympathy from irritation. Over time, Martin became one of TV's most unforgettable characters. Briers later admitted it was one of his hardest roles. But what happened when viewers began confusing Richard Briers with Martin in real life?
In other words, I am making the Ovaltine.
Fact 7. Before Ever-Decreasing Circles was finalised, other names were considered.
These people to a T, love, that's exactly what they do.
David Renwick wanted something that captured the theme of suburban monotony. Early drafts had titles that felt too ordinary. The phrase ever-decreasing circles symbolised lives looping endlessly. It reflected Martin's obsession with routine and order. The title gave the sitcom a slightly darker undertone. Some producers feared it sounded too serious, but Renwick believed it perfectly expressed the show's core idea. Once chosen, the title quickly grew on everyone. Fans later praised it as one of the most fitting in sitcom history. It hinted at comedy while acknowledging futility. The unusual title also made it stand out. It wasn't just another bland suburban comedy. Instead, it carried intrigue and intelligence. The name itself became part of its identity. Without it, the series might have been forgotten more easily. The bold choice of title helped define its legacy. But what unexpected detail in the opening sequence made the title even more meaningful?
When you keep me napping endlessly.
Fact 8. When Paul entered the storyline, he immediately drew attention.
Hello, Paul Ryman home for loose women.
His charm and ease contrasted starkly with Martin's fussiness. Some viewers even preferred Paul over the supposed lead. Peter Egan embraced the role with style and confidence. His performance gave the series fresh energy. Paul became both a rival and a mirror for Martin. Their rivalry highlighted Martin's insecurity. Audiences enjoyed watching the clash of personalities. The chemistry between Egan and Briers was electric. Yet behind the scenes, some feared Paul might dominate. Writers had to carefully balance screen time. They ensured Martin remained the emotional centre. Egan himself respected Briers deeply. He never tried to overshadow him intentionally. Instead, he elevated the tension between them. Fans later agreed Paul was essential but not overwhelming. His presence enriched rather than weakened the series. Without him, Martin's flaws might never have been fully exposed. But what did Egan himself reveal about joining a show already led by a comedy veteran?
Roar! Come one, come all, each lass and her mate.
Fact 9.
Fun for you.
Yeah, see, the thing about a spontaneous sort of Christmas like this is the amount of organisation it requires.
When production began, expectations were modest. The cast believed it would be a nice but ordinary sitcom. No one predicted it would capture such loyalty. Slowly, the humour and relatability won audiences over. Viewers recognised themselves in Martin's struggles. The characters felt like real neighbours. Word spread about the show's charm. The cast soon realised they were part of something special. Richard Briers later admitted he underestimated its appeal. Penelope Wilton said she was touched by fan reactions. The series became part of everyday conversation for many families. Its mix of subtlety and sharpness made it stand out. The cast felt proud to be in something so lasting. They saw how deeply audiences connected with the characters. Even years later, people still reference it fondly. The quiet success surprised even its creator. What began as modest turned into a classic. But how did its ending affect the cast and fans who had grown so attached?
You must be Martin.
Good morning, yes, I am Martin.
Well, I think you're terrific.
Fact 10.
Come on, Martin. I'll race you to the best bedroom. Steady.
Don't be...
Though it ended in 1989, ever-decreasing circles never really disappeared. Fans continue to revisit it decades later. The characters remain relatable to new generations. Martin and Anne's marriage still feels authentic today. Paul's effortless charm still sparks envy and admiration. Howard and Hilda still bring gentle laughter. The writing has stood the test of time. Its balance of humour and awkward realism feels timeless. Many later sitcoms borrowed from its style. Writers still point to it as a model of subtle comedy. The performances remain celebrated as some of the best of the era. Richard Briers himself considered it one of his most rewarding roles. Penelope Wilton went on to even greater success, but never forgot Anne. Peter Egan remained fond of his time as Paul. Together, they created a slice of suburbia that feels eternal. The legacy is quiet but undeniable. Fans cherish it as one of Britain's smartest comedies. And the real question is, what other hidden gems from classic sitcoms are still waiting to be rediscovered?